So starting the test drive in this Corsair plug-in hybrid, I made a huge mistake. I said these paddle shifters were for the regenerative braking system. They're actually just regular paddle shifters. So it kind of gives you those fake revs like in the CVTs that you get from Nissan. And some other manufacturers as well, but I know Nissan likes to put paddle shifters on everything, and I didn't expect that from this Lincoln, but it's interesting. I was not expecting that. But I'm gonna test it out a little bit when we try and accelerate in the sport mode. But over here to the features, I did forget to mention, if you want to find your driver assistance to change the adaptive cruise to normal, that's how you do it there. Just go in there and you can do that, turn the lane centering on and off. But those are two big things I missed on the walk around. But ride so far is pretty good. Now the Escapes ride is pretty good as well, and I'm sure just the seats and a few other things make the Corsair that much better. And something else that impresses me about this, now I did just drive a regular Escape hybrid. I haven't driven the plug-in yet. But this plug-in here is just, it's so luxurious, just coming out of a stop. And you just hear that, I guess, kind of whir, and I don't know if that's coming from the speakers or it's the sound that's coming out the front end, but it just feels luxurious, and it doesn't feel overly quirky either, like some EVs you get in and they give you the fake engine sounds, things of that nature. It makes a lot of sense, and it's just nice. Everything about it is nice. Now again, for the paddle shifters, I feel like most people are not gonna use it for that, for what it's made for. And I wish they would have gone with the regen, being able to toggle with that like in the Pacifica. The Pacifica plug-in hybrid allows you put in the low gear and it gives you the max regen, and I don't know of a button for that. There might be a way to do it. Maybe if I had the drive button twice or whatever, but it's just weird having paddle shifters. But again, a very, very quiet vehicle, even when the engine is on. And the driving dynamics feel great, and the Escape is a vehicle that drives pretty nicely. I've driven the Corsair, I think the 21, and I remember that one drove pretty nicely, but this, especially with the hybrid setup, just feels that much better, especially when you have that torque from the electric motors. But again, I'm impressed by how solid this vehicle is, especially, like I said, I give it throttle and it doesn't pierce my eardrums like most hybrids do, especially with CVTs. Now I have it in Excite mode now. For whatever reason, it's not showing me what gear I'm in. So that's interesting, but it definitely, you can feel it's much more peppy, and it tends to want to rev higher. But what's great is I still don't feel like anything else is suffering. Even the sound, even though it's sportier, it's still almost kind of deadened just by the sound acoustics of the vehicle overall. But we're gonna give it some throttle, not too much, but we'll give it a little bit getting on the interstate here momentarily. So, very impressed by how smooth the acceleration curve is with this. It's extremely quick for what it is. It's not necessarily fast, but it certainly gets the job done. Let's try this cruise out. So we have the lane centering on, and then we have the adaptive cruise on. I'm gonna put it into the eco mode now, the conserve. And this is so relaxing, just such a great ride. I love having the lane centering. just makes this vehicle that much more luxurious. And I mean, the sound acoustics in here are crazy. Just I'd say about 80% of the sound coming in here is actually the road noise, which isn't too bad, especially because this stretch of interstate is pretty worn. But I can hear the wind being just shielded from me, and I find that pretty impressive. Even though this is a Lincoln and it's $60,000, for this to be the smallest Lincoln that's offered, it's still great to have such fantastic sound acoustics in the cabin. Now, in terms of competition, you can basically get the Escape plug-in. And I mean, you have a Sorento plug-in hybrid, but I mean, you still get the $3,750 for the EV tax credit with these. And there's really not anything else that's out right now that you can get. You can get a Cadillac Lyriq, but that's about 10 grand more for something like this, especially since this one has all-wheel drive. But a great option in my opinion. Love the driving dynamics and just love the interior and just how it rides in general. It's a fantastic car. Now, $60,000 is a lot of money, but how much we're paying for vehicles these days, it's really not that bad at all. But again, you have the Escape hybrid, plug-in hybrid, the Lyriq, and there'll be more stuff that comes out. The Equinox is supposed to be coming out. That'll be a pretty good competitor. I'm sure I'm missing a couple others, but I guess the RAV4 Prime would be one as well. But again, not very many offer you that EV tax credit, and they're pretty much all around the same price range, similarly equipped. But it's an impressive vehicle. Room's impressive. Again, drives nicely. So I'd highly recommend one if you're in the market for something like this. And this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring Hybrid.